If you want your home to feel cozy, layered, and designer inspired this season, but you don't want to spend a fortune, you are in the right place. I've got 10 thrift flips that'll totally transform your space, including a few viral DIYs that you've never seen before. And trust me, you're gonna wanna stick around for the candle plate. It looks like Anthropologie, but I found everything I need to make it at the thrift store. We're kicking off with one of the most viral DIYs right now, and have wanted to try this forever. It is the candle plate. At Value Village, I found a crystal dish, and then I found 7 different vessels that are also crystal for this DIY. I found a few different crystal cups, I found a candle holder and some short ones. The secret to this DIY is you wanna mix and match heights to make this look amazing, and I would recommend using odd numbers of vessels for the top of your tray. Next, I took all of these home and I made the arrangement that I liked on top of the tray, and I simply hot glued all of these elements to the top of this crystal plate. The reason I chose hot glue was because I could remove these later if I wanted to and use these for other purposes. I also found some taper candles at Value Village, and I love this pack because they had a couple different colors, pinks and reds, even a hand-painted candle. And I'm placing the candles in all of the different containers, making sure that they're super secure with wax. Then I'm lighting everything, and look at how gorgeous and stunning this candle tray looks. This would be the perfect table centerpiece for your fall gathering, or it would look so beautiful at Christmas. And just like any DIY with candles, make sure you use candle safety. And if you're purchasing crystal items from the thrift store, make sure you test them for lead too. Next up is one of my favorite cozy finds for the season. We all know that battery-operated miniature lamps are all the rage right now. People are using them on everything from kitchen countertops to entry consoles. I found this beautiful little mini linen look lampshade only for a few dollars, and then I also nearby on the shelf found this gold-colored lamp base. I thought they would make the perfect pairing for a cute little lamp in my entryway. I cleaned both the items, and then one of the bottom little balls was missing off of this lamp base, so I simply used my pliers to take one of them off and re-glue it in a spot to make this nice and even. Then I found this battery-operated puck light from Dollarama. You could probably find these at Dollar Tree as well. And I'm hot gluing it upside down so the light shines down to the top of the lamp base. Then I'm adding some hot glue to the lampshade and placing that on top. And the cool thing about this configuration is that I can actually press the lampshade down, and this light is a click light, so I can click it on by pressing the lampshade down, which is really fun. It has all these different colors, plus it has a remote, and I love how it looks in my entryway. It's that Nancy Meyers vibe that I've really been enjoying this year. This next thrift flip is an all-time favorite. I found this mirror at a restore and I loved the shape of it. So I took it home, cleaned it up, and added these embellishments from Amazon. I'll leave everything down in that description box below if you want to find these same wooden pieces. I'm using E6000 so everything stays on the mirror perfectly. After I have all the wooden pieces in the right spot, I'm taking some black matte spray paint and spray painting that whole frame, making sure to mask off the mirror itself. Then I'm taking this beautiful gold rub and buff and rubbing it all over the mirror, and what happens here is that all the little crevices stay black, so it gives it that beautiful antique look. Once I apply the rub and buff, I'm just taking an old rag and buffing all of the gold out, and look at how this mirror turned out. Still one of my favorite thrift flips of all time, and it looks so pretty in my living room. I am convinced that candles are absolutely the heart of cozy decorating, especially in the fall and winter months, and it's actually really easy to make a DIY candle. My trick here when you want to thrift a vessel for a candle is look in the bakeware section. That's a section that you're going to find vessels that are actually meant to withstand heat. I found this beautiful white ribbed mug style bakeware piece, and then I'm using some wax melts that I already had on hand, placing them in a DIY double boiler and melting them. Once they're all melted, I'm adding some pumpkin spice essential oil, but you can add any type of essential oil you want to get the scent that you want. And then in the container, I'm taking some hot glue and these wicks and placing them inside the container. I'm using some old pencil crayons and tying the top of the wicks around so that everything stays in place. Then I'm pouring my wax inside this container and letting it cool. Now I have this beautiful and cozy fall scented candle that's an amazing centerpiece or something that would look so cozy in my bedroom, and it smells incredible too. They're so beautiful on trays for added texture and warmth, and I love that you can make these with thrift store finds. Now this thrift flip has been with me for a couple years, one of my absolute favorites. At Value Village, I found some stretchy gingham pants, and I realized that the bottom of these pants fit perfectly around some Amazon shades that I had found. So I was able to cut the bottom of these pants, pull them over these shades, and use some hot glue to tack them all the way around to give these lampshades that cottagecore vibe that I love. And these were actually for some wall sconces, battery operated lights on either side of my mirror in my breakfast nook, and I love how they look. They add just that little bit of texture and cottage charm to this area in my kitchen. And the small scale pattern of these lampshades matches perfectly with the larger scale floral of my drapes. Lighting is everything in fall decor, and I highly recommend checking out your thrift store for lamps. You can always find some amazing lamps that you can either clean up and use as is, or paint them or change the shade, and they can look amazing in your home. I love the look of this brass picture light, and I thought it would look incredible in my home office. It's a little dark in there now that I painted everything this beautiful dark green. So I simply cleaned this up with some Barkeeper's Friend, and then I found these rechargeable light bulbs on Amazon. They're nice and skinny, so they fit perfectly inside this light. You can recharge them really easily and then use a remote control to change the temperature, the color of these, even how bright and dim they are, which is always a nice touch in home decor. And then I just simply pushed the cord right into the lamp. Little tip, lamps with bases like this, you usually can stick that cord right inside rather than cutting it off, just in case you want to use it later. And I'm placing it on the shelf in my office for a little bit of added coziness. And at night, this creates the dreamiest, coziest corner if I need to work late. Now, this thrift flip started with a scratched up cutting board that had seen better days, but cutting boards, you can always take home and sand them. So I gave it a good sanding to make it look like new. You can use some butcher block oil, but I'm not gonna do that here. I wanna take my Cricut and cut out this French bakery inspired phrase on some white vinyl. Then I'm removing all the excess vinyl, placing some transfer tape on top, and adding this little decal to the cutting board. And this makes the cutest addition to my kitchen decor, and I can flip it over and use it if I need to. When I spotted this cute retro canister, I knew I wanted to incorporate it into my kitchen. I always decorate this little corner in my kitchen, and I also spotted this amazing marble tray for only a few dollars. I cleaned them up, and trays are always a fantastic thing to grab at the thrift store because you can use them to corral items in your home, whether it's in your kitchen, on your ottoman, in your bathroom. And here I'm just using it in this cozy little corner of my kitchen. I'm placing our Amazon Echo on top, so we use this, I mentioned in a previous video, for our family calendar, keeping track of things, but it's also really fun to watch little shows on when I'm baking or cooking in the kitchen. And then I'm adding the canister and inside all of my wooden utensils. And I love the color and the retro feel that this gives to this corner in my kitchen. I placed some wooden spoons in the canister, and I love the contrast of the retro canister with the wooden spoons, adding a little faux greenery and a cute little faux plant from one of my local florists, and I love how this cozy corner turned out. And I still have so much counter space for actually doing things in here, but I like the idea of just keeping one little corner of your countertops, if you have the space, for a little seasonal cozy moment. If you love changing out your throw pillow covers with the seasons, this is one of my favorite tricks. Head to your thrift store and look in the sheet section, the fabric section, the drapery section, and see if you can find some fabric that you can repurpose into cushion covers. Then simply take your cushion insert and measure it, and then cut the fabric to exactly the same dimensions, because when you sew it, it's going to be slightly smaller than the pillow insert and give you that cushy, amazing full pillow look. Now cut 2 squares that are the same size and then place them right sides together, and you can either sew all the way around the perimeter with your sewing machine and leave a 6-inch hole, or use hem tape or fabric glue if you want to use a no-sew method. Then you're going to turn the whole thing right side out, put your pillow insert inside, and hand stitch it closed. No zippers, no fuss, and I love how they add some pattern and texture to my breakfast nook. Now this one is practical and I use it every single day. My thrift stores always have a ton of spoon racks and I love repurposing them for all different things. I repurpose them for jewelry organizers, and this one I made into an entry organizer. The wood was in really rough shape, so I spray painted the whole thing this really pretty dusty pink color. Then I took some scrap fabric, cut it out to size, and Mod Podged it in between the racks. After that was all dry, I used some glue and attached a drawer pull so that it was perfect to hold mail. Then I attached some cup pulls on the bottom, and these are perfect for things like keys, sunglasses, etc. And mounted right inside my entryway door, this is a great place for all of those things that you want to place down, like mail, sunglasses, keys, lanyards, maybe even some jewelry, and I love this pattern. It's so fun. And if you're ready for even more cozy fall inspiration, I'm gonna leave this video for you to watch next right here, where I make over my living room with all sorts of cozy finds, and I think it's gonna get you excited for the fall.